guys hear me? All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I have to test something out real quick. Hold on. Oh, I guess it works. Hold on. Okay. That's pretty cool. I just wanted to test out this new feature on this camera I got where I could actually just like twist it and it closes the lens, which is pretty cool. So yes, we did get a new camera, like I said. How does it look? We're not in 4K. Want to make that clear. We're not in 4K. We are in, I believe, 1080p 60. I don't know if I'm going to do it in today's members lounge or another members lounge, but I will be testing out 4K in like a members lounge stream and see how that looks. But yeah, we talked about this. My previous camera was dying, so with the help of you guys, we were able to secure a new one. Believe it or not, the angle's actually the same. It's just I guess the lens has a wider angle or whatever. It looks good. It's hard to compare with a side-by-side or without a side-by-side. I'm pretty sure you could just quickly, Michael, you could just quickly bring up yesterday's stream, watch it for just like 20 seconds and then come back. I'm sure you'll see it, boss. Oh my God. Now you get to see boss annoy me in a higher quality, higher fidelity. But yeah, appreciate it, guys. This is another investment I was able to make into the channel because you guys make it possible. You show support. So thank you so much for that. How did the Mrs. MBG reveal go? It went well. Yeah, it went well. People enjoyed it. Me and Mrs. MBG chatted with members for about like an hour or so. And we had a good time. We had a good time overall. Camera looks clean, big difference. MBG with PSSR. Yeah, we got some AI. Actually, this camera does have AI built into it. That's what it said. So that's actually not a joke. I was going to make a joke, but it's actually real. So. All right, I'll give you guys a quick rundown of the topics. Boss, I swear. Give us an AI wig. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the situation that's going down with Black Myth Wukong. A lot of drama with this game where we have basically confirmation that there was never an exclusivity deal in place. A lot of insiders, I think, lost a lot of credibility. But there's a lot of conversation now about, the Xbox Series S. Is it a mistake? Is it a problem? Is it the developer? Is it Game Science's fault? We'll talk about that. I'm also going to be going over my top games of 2024. People have been asking me what my game of the year for 2024 is. I will be revealing that in today's stream. I'm also going to tell you guys which games I platinumed in 2024, and we're just going to have a general discussion about the games we enjoyed in 2024. So I'm sure we'll have some other things to discuss along the way. We have 2 super chats from Cypherpunk. Thank you for that, buddy. You're saying Jeff Grubb confirmed it back in August. No deal. That is true, but at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, Cypherpunk, there were also some other insiders or some other individuals kind of pushing back against that, being like, no, I've heard from my sources that there is a deal. And I just remember there being like a lot of push and pull going on with that situation last year. And then you say here, Digital Foundry's best graphics of 2024, Indiana Jones, Hellblade, and I guess you're saying Star Wars Outlaws run on the Series S, just amateurs when it comes to optimization. It runs like ass on PC and PlayStation still. Well, to be honest, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong about the fact that some of the best looking games of 2024 do run on the Series S. There are demanding games that run on the Series S, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that because, man, conversations like this get completely out of hand where there's just no rational thinking anymore. There's no rational thinking. There's no people are just jumping to conclusions all over the place, just like they did with the exclusivity deal, where it's like, let's take a step back and actually evaluate what's going on here. Does it really seem like Sony has an exclusivity deal in place based off of what we're seeing? And I feel like when you look at it, it's like, no, they definitely don't. But yet people were still buying into the rumors circulating. And right now people are talking about the Series S, and they're like, bro, this console literally can't do anything. And it's like, all right, come on, like that's not true. We need to be accurate in assessing these things for what they are, not what we want them to be. And this is something that I'm planning on cutting through all throughout 2025 because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing people just not like I understand people are going to have their own opinions, but I'm tired of seeing am I stuttering? Or are there any problems? Something going on? No? Good. Okay. Just making sure. Just making sure. Got a new camera, so I'm like, anticipating some kind of technical difficulty. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm tired of seeing nonsense float to the top, and be at the top as if it's like, yeah, this is indicative of the truth and reality, and it's like it's not. And so we're gonna have an extensive conversation about this, um, because I do have quite a bit to say. I did put out a post on Twitter yesterday, which I was not expecting it to blow up as much as it did. It got, I think, like 500,000 views and a lot of engagement, which, hey, I'll take it, right? Nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people very upset. A lot of people very, very upset. And I think this is where the nonsense of like they're getting all in their feels about things that it's like, what, just look at these are just the facts, man. Saying the new camera slims me down. But Cypherpunk, thank you for the super chats. I think, yeah, the biggest difference I'm noticing with the camera outside of the image quality increase is it's showing much more of the room here. There's a much wider angle. So I do like that. I think it actually looks better. It's capturing more. Um, what was the tweet? Well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Listen, before I go any further, though, I do want to just thank everybody for being here and hanging out. We had a massive, massive day yesterday on the stream where we basically did end up hitting the goal. I see King Sam in the chat. I was about to give him a shout out. He says, still saying I'm at the Daily Max, so I assume it's a 24 hours thing. So 2 hours from now, I'll try again. All right, I appreciate that, King Sam. Yeah, I would assume it's a 24-hour thing as well, because yeah, I guess that was around the time you started dropping those memberships around the 2 hour mark. So King Sam, he's going to drop some more membership gifts at around I would assume around the 2 hour mark, assuming that YouTube lets him. So you can look forward to that. But yeah, we had an absolutely massive day yesterday. And like I said, we did do a Mrs. MBG reveal because you guys did hit the goal yesterday, which was insane. So if you do get a membership gift, you can go check that out. I also want to let you guys know there will be a members lounge today, and I'm going to give you I'm going to let you guys know kind of what to expect in today's members lounge because it's going to be different than the usual. Today's members lounge is actually going to be extremely personal, like personal on a level that I don't think, I don't know. We've gotten pretty personal before in the members lounge, but today I think it's going to reach a new level, and it's just something that I don't know. I think might help me out a little bit if I talk to some of you guys about it. So if you are a channel member, you can tune into that. No, it's much more serious than that. Gaming Survivor. It's actually an extremely serious topic, like dead serious. But I was contemplating whether or not to even stream today, but I'm the type of person where it's like it does help me. It does help me. So we'll save that for the members lounge. I just wanted to give you that little preface there before we go any further. And so yeah, guys, a couple of ways you can support the channel. consider becoming a channel member. Okay, we are gaining more and more members every day, every stream. We're getting more members, more people not only getting gifted members, but people actually becoming members. And like I said, 2025 is going to be a massive year for members content. We're hitting the ground running. After this week, we're going to be doing regular Morning with the Missus streams. We're going to be doing gameplay streams. We're going to be doing a lot of members lounges. We're going to be doing a lot. So please consider becoming a channel member if you're not already, and you can gain access to those perks. But you can also drop a super chat, direct donation. There are many other ways you can support the channel. So thank you guys so much for what you do for me in the community. But with that being said, and I appreciate what you guys are saying in the chat as well. Yeah, just like I said, if you want more context, just tune in to the members lounge today, and we'll talk all about it. But we are going to stay on topic on today's stream, and let's go over this information. So this all stems from a post on the Chinese version of Twitter. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Weibo? Weibo? I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's basically the Chinese version of Twitter. And so we have the director. I need to bring it up here so I can quote it. We have the director of Black Myth Wukong just kind of casually dropping some information that I think people definitely would have liked to have gotten last year, but he decided to drop it on New Year's, on January 1st. And so this is exactly what he said. Quote, and again, this is the director of Black Myth Wukong. Quote, although there were no big surprises, I still felt a little emotional after getting all of them. Everyone's fighting power is so terrifying, but the only thing missing is the Xbox robe. It seems a bit wrong, but that's 10 gigabytes of shared memory. It's really impossible to get it without several years of optimization experience. So obviously this is translated from Chinese, so it's a little rough. It's a little rough. We have to kind of make sense of it. And I see we have Titus coming in, dropping a 5-bomb, kicking off the member train, hopefully, for today. Titus, thank you so much for that, man. Contributing to the goal. Yeah, this is the last day I'm keeping the goal up. I know it says the member goal ends on January 1st. I'm just keeping it up today, so when King Sam drops his memberships later on, hopefully if he's able to, we'll be able to officially hit that goal, you know what I mean, and show it on screen. But Titus, thank you so much for the 5-bomb. Wes finally got a gift. Bro, he finally got a membership. He's been waiting. It's great. It's great to see, man. It's great to see more people who have been tuning into the members lounges over the last year or so. It's been great to see those people receiving membership gifts once again, because it was looking kind of spooky there for a little bit, you know? Let me pop this out. So I want to ask you guys, before I dive deeper into, like, as I will attempt to extract what I think this developer is trying to say. How do you guys interpret his post? No, Michael Lynch, I read those super chats, man. I read those. You don't have to worry. No, I always read super chats. You don't have to worry about that, man. Yeah, there's a couple of things. I think some people are kind of taking what they want out of what this director's saying. And this is where I want to give my take on it and tell you what I am extracting from it. There are a couple of things. The first thing that I want to talk about, because I feel like people are not really, they're kind of pretending like something didn't happen last year that definitely did happen. We're at 11:42. Let me just update that. I'm talking about the timed exclusivity deal, apparently, that people were going on and on about. And look, I just want to say, I know it's water under the bridge at this point, but I'm going to bring it up, man, because I cover this stuff in depth. there were multiple times last year where we had to talk about Black Myth Wukong specifically because there were mass reports from multiple insiders and even Microsoft themselves seemingly threw uh, some gasoline on the fire where we we saw people basically just destroying Sony because the the rumor claimed Sony struck a secret exclusivity deal behind closed doors with Game Science, the developers of Black Myth Wukong, and it wasn't just one Xbox insider saying this, it was multiple Xbox insiders saying this. And it very quickly became a thing that it became a focal point for Black Myth Wukong. And people, were like, man, Sony is garbage for this. Of course, Sony's going to money hat Black Myth Wukong. And it got to a point where, again, Microsoft did chime in. And I want to read to you the exact response that Microsoft gave. So people were asking, like, Microsoft, what's going on with Black Myth Wukong? Is it going to be on Xbox or not? And so this is what they said at the height of these rumors about a potential PlayStation exclusivity deal. So Microsoft responded to the release of Black Myth Wukong by saying, quote, "We are excited for the launch of Black Myth Wukong on the Xbox Series X and S, and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We can't comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders, but we remain focused on making Xbox the best platform for gamers, and great games are at the center of that." I want to specifically draw attention to the part of the quote where it says, "We can't comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders." This is what truly threw a lot of gasoline onto the fire that was already raging, where Microsoft didn't flat out say there is a deal, but they heavily implied and insinuated that there is a deal. And they did this purposely. They did this strategically because they knew that people would start to dogpile Sony and Game Science for doing something like this. And what's a little bit disturbing about this revelation uh, is not the revelation itself, but the people who were just not, they're pretending that this didn't happen. I'm seeing Xbox fans jumping. It's like Xbox Series S Defense Force is in full swing. You know, the Xbox Series S Defense Force has activated, and I understand to a degree why some people are going to get defensive, but this is where I feel like they're losing the forest for the trees here, where it's like the developer isn't shitting on the Series S. That's just the fact. He's not shitting on the Series S by being like, this console sucks. He's not doing it. And we have Sam King, who I can only assume to be King Sam. This has to be King Sam, right? If this is not King Sam, bro, then somebody's really messing with us. But it looks like King Sam is able to find a workaround, and he comes in and he drops what I assume to be the first 50 bomb. He said he was going to drop 100 more membership gifts in total yesterday, but he reached his daily limit apparently. So he comes in and he drops that 50 bomb. He's a huge reason why we were able to hit the goal. He encouraged everybody. He said, "Listen, guys, if you drop the amount of members we need, he'll match it with like 200 membership gifts." And he was not joking. He was dead serious. So let's get some W's flowing in the chat for King Sam. Really appreciate that, man. King Sam basically in total, when it's all said and done, would have dropped 200 membership gifts, which is colossal support for the channel. So thank you so much for that, man. Stuff like that, again, allows me to reinvest in the channel, allows me to keep this thing going and continue to grow the community. So huge shout out to King Sam, as well as everybody else who continues to support. And we have Works Garage actually re-upping their membership as well. Thank you so much for that, buddy. I very much appreciate the direct support. Please go check out some of the members-only content. You'll now have access to the Members Lounge after today's stream. And yeah, those membership gifts are still rolling out, man. Still rolling out. Says the goal was supposed to end yesterday. I know. I'm keeping it up just because we weren't able to technically, roll it over the 1200 or the the 1200 mark. So I wanted to make sure to keep it up today for King Sam so we can do that. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. You guys are awesome. Seriously. I'm sorry if I seem a little bit off today, I apologize. All right. If it seems like my energy levels are a little bit lower, I didn't get much sleep at all last night. I think I only got like 3 hours of sleep or less. So, we'll talk, like I said, we'll talk about that in the members lounge. It's one of those things where it's like, hey man, is everything okay? Or like, is something wrong? I mean, 99.9% of the time when people ask that question, it's like, no, man, I'm good. It's fine. No, today's one of those days where it's like, I could say, no, something's wrong. Something's not good. So I'm just putting that out there. If I seem a little bit off today, don't think, don't let it deter you from the conversation. But I see somebody, Hanzo, you just discovered the Bloodborne emote. Yeah, we got a couple of good emotes, man. If you just became a channel member, you gain access to these emotes. Put some of these out here. Bad sleep is annoying. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. All right, so we'll see. I assume King Sam at some point will drop that second 50 bomb. I'm just kind of giving it a moment here to see if it happens now or if he's going to do it in a little while. MBG is going to admit to us he never owned a PS5. Yeah, it was all a lie, bro. It was a lie. I never even played a game on PS5. No Skylanders emojis. Devil Child showing up in the chat asking for Skylander emojis. I mean, look, if we hit a new threshold, because I can only add new emojis when we hit like a certain number of members. If we hit a threshold at some point, which I'll have to double check if we did, and we unlock another emote slot or emoji slot, maybe Devil Child. I'll consider it. Marcos, you're saying you totally disagree with my prediction regarding Blue Point. Imagine you coming from two great remakes to become a support studio for another studio. It would be devastating. I want to make it clear that was not my prediction. I was saying that Mystic predicted that, and that I think it's a possibility. But I'm more in line with what you were saying, Marcos. I don't think Blue Point's going to be a support studio. I don't think it's going to be a support studio. I think that they do have a full game they're making. King Sam, that's crazy, bro. YouTube is really trying to get in your way. You're saying on your new account it's not letting you drop anymore, so you're going to wait later for your regular account. What is YouTube doing, bro? YouTube's like, bro, we're just going to have to keep putting roadblocks in front of you. I appreciate the commitment, though, King Sam. That's awesome. Very, very generous of you, man. Can't thank you enough. But getting back to the Black Myth Wukong situation, if we go back to what the director of the game actually said, so he says, I still felt a little emotional. Everyone's fighting power is so terrifying. I'm assuming by that he's referring to the competition out there. He says, but the only thing missing is the Xbox robe, as in the only thing missing for Black Myth Wukong is it not being on Xbox. He said it seems a bit wrong, so he acknowledges that it doesn't feel right that the game isn't on Xbox. And he says, but it's the 10 gigabytes of shared memory. Now, he's referring to the 10 gigabytes of shared memory inside of the Xbox Series S. He says it's really impossible to get it without several years of optimization experience. Now, this is the part that I also want to highlight, okay? I want to highlight that, and I'm going to return to Microsoft's statement. But, there's an assumption that because we cover PlayStation here, that it's like, well, well, at least for me, like I'm just gonna completely dunk on the Series S. But here's the reality, okay? I'm 2025 for me is the year of accepting reality for what it is. The reality is the developer is admitting that the only way they would be able to properly optimize Black Myth Wukong for the Xbox Series S is if they had more AAA development experience and had basically more experience in optimizing games for different platforms. That is coming from the director himself. He is not blaming the Series S per se. He's not saying it's not capable of running games. He's saying that they are not capable of optimizing for it due to their limited experience. The reason why I want to emphasize this is because I've seen a lot of people pretending that Sony being accused of an exclusivity deal last year was not a big deal. That's not true. The reality was Sony got dragged all over the place for basically what was a lie, false information. But I also see a lot of people basically taking this situation with Black Myth Wukong and saying this is proof that the Xbox Series S can't really run games. And it's not. I say this as somebody who doesn't care about the Series S. I don't think the Series S is a very good console. I think that it is a bit of a thorn in, the side of this generation. But I'm saying this because the reality is that there are plenty of games that are considered demanding that do look good on other platforms, such as the Series X or the PS5, that do run on the Series S. Now, granted, are they running great? Not in most cases, probably not. There's some serious compromises, serious compromises. It's running to a point where it's like, wow, it's really difficult to really call this next gen. The Series S is not the beast console that Microsoft marketed as. It's just simply not. And that's where I see quite a few people trying to talk about the Series S as if it's some kind of incredibly impressive console. It's like it's not. It's not at all. Like, go watch some of the Digital Foundry breakdowns, man. Like, this console, the amount of compromises that need to be made, like, I think for a lot of people make them go, you know what? I think I'm just going to get an X or PS5, or just go to a PC that's definitely better than the Series S, I think that's the reality of the Series S. The reality of the Series S is that developers with experience in optimization are putting the extra effort in. They are, because they kind of have to. But it's pretty clear that the Series S is not the ideal console. It's not the ideal. It's not it's something that does add extra work for the developers because they have to focus on scaling it down and making sure that the game isn't breaking on that console. Yeah, it's not a 1440p 120 hertz box. It's not that. And I remember there were conversations that were becoming so ridiculous in 2020 that people were talking about the Series S actually matching the PS5. And I'm like, okay, see, this is where people are becoming delusional, where it's like you could be excited for a cheaper entry level next generation console, but like you can't really believe that. It's just not possible. It's not practical. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, what's up, Corey? Corey, I was laughing so hard at your comment in the members lounge yesterday because you were like, "What is happening? What did I miss?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you missed the stream yesterday, man. You missed that stream." But that was funny. That made me that had me laughing. What also had me laughing is people being like, "Oh my God, Mrs. MBG is real, not a figment of MBG's imagination. She wasn't AI or made up." But yeah, I'm just trying to basically cut through all the BS and all the nonsense that people are throwing out here. Like, again, I think it's fine if people have their opinions. I've encountered many people who love their Series S. That's their opinion. That's their opinion based off of their experience with it. And I'm not trying to tell those people, well, you love a garbage console, because the reality is, like, if they're enjoying it, they're enjoying it, man. If they're okay with having a compromised experience, as long as it just plays, right, and it runs well enough, who am I to say that you shouldn't enjoy that? What we need to see are people that are able to enjoy that, but also acknowledge the reality that this console does require extra work, extra effort, and extra optimization. It does require more from developers who are making AAA games. Just like when we look at when we talk about optimizing for PC, it requires more work because they have to keep in mind all of the different configurations. It's like we gotta scale this thing up to the highest spec, and we gotta scale it all the way down to the lowest possible spec on PC. It takes time. It takes time, and it takes some extra effort. And so it's no different for something like the Series S. I just think it's completely disingenuous to see people acting like the Series S is a perfectly amazing console with no shortcomings, and definitely, a console that developers love. I think that's disingenuous. I think it's just as disingenuous to make it seem like the Series S is not out here running games. It is. Now, whether or not you think the console's running games at a good enough, you know, frame rate or resolution, I'd say that's where things get pretty subjective. But my stance on that is, I guess the market has to determine. The market has to determine how they feel about games potentially running at like 900p or 720p at 30 frames or something. The market has to determine that. If the market's okay with that, then they will buy that console in mass, and people will play their games on that console. The Series S seems to be selling decent, but I don't think people are necessarily running out in droves to buy it. So, a lot of really interesting things here with what this developer had to say. Perfect Image, you're saying this is why PlayStation focuses on hardware and software this generation. Yeah, I mean, Sony, I remember at the beginning of this generation in 2020, Jim Ryan was basically asked like if they considered releasing a cheaper version of the PS5, like a Series S version of the PS5. And he basically said that they did think about it, but they decided it was a bad idea based off of what they've seen in the past. They basically talked about this being a thing in the past that other platform holders tried to do, and it didn't really work very well. It caused too many problems and became too strenuous. And I think he was mostly right about it. I mean, it depends. In this case, I feel like it depends on how you look at it, because it does feel like it's kind of a tug of war argument to a degree, where it's like, hey, I bought a Series S and I'm enjoying it, or I think it's fine, or I bought a Series S for my kid and, it was a cheaper alternative option for me to give them access to, Xbox games and whatnot. But then there are also people that are like, well, we want to move forward and we want to see the absolute best from this generation. We don't want anything to potentially be there that could cause any kind of development strain or problems, or, an extra workload that just otherwise wouldn't need to be there. So it's kind of a tug of war in that sense. And at the end of the day, I think people do kind of have to decide, like, which side of the fence are you on? Are you pro Xbox Series S, or are you anti Xbox Series S? Yes, Michael, this is a new camera. I did get a new camera, as I said. I'm glad you noticed. We're not in 4K yet, though. We're not in 4K yet. I'm going to test out 4K either today or tomorrow. I think I'll test it out tomorrow in a members lounge or something. You can see the pimple on my eye. That's actually not a pimple. Although it kind of does look like it. It's not a pimple though. But I'm glad you noticed it. I'm glad this camera is showing every little detail. And we have Dreadful83 coming in and re-upping his membership once again. Dreadful, thank you so much for that, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's good stuff, dude. Thank you guys for becoming members and re-upping your memberships. Appreciate all the membership gifts as well. Love to see it, guys. And if you could do me a favor, please hit that like button. We're sitting at 90 likes. We could easily crush 100 likes. 4K, you're watching at 144p. Well, hey, man, as long as the option's there, you know? But yeah, man, I think people are going a bit nuts with the whole, um, you know, Black Myth Wukong Series S thing. Another thing I've seen people mentioning is they're like, well, maybe the most logical conclusion here is that they could actually get this game up and running eventually on the Series S, but it's just not going to be worth the time, resource, and effort because it'll probably, it'd probably take a decent amount of manpower as well as money, and they think they're really just not going to sell much. I'm just going to drop a harsh truth that I think, you know, some people, again, I saw the Xbox Series S Defense Force coming out in full force, and I think people are going to get a little bit upset at what I'm about to say, but I just think that there's some truths. Like I said, I'm all about the reality of facing reality in 2025. Here's the reality, and here's the cold hard truth. Um, Game science doesn't need Xbox. They don't need to put their game on Xbox. I think they know that. This game is a colossal success, probably the biggest success story of 2024. They sold over 20 million copies, mostly on PC, but also some on PS5. They don't need Xbox. So therefore, if they decide, we're not going to waste our time trying to figure out this Series S memory situation. We're just not. Sorry. Go play it on PC, go play it on PS5. You can't really argue with that. You can't really argue with it because it's like, you're right. You don't need them. Now, is it okay for Xbox players to be a little bit upset at that? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a perfectly valid reason to be a little bit upset. If you want to play Black Myth Wukong on your Xbox, but they're like, nah, yeah, I think that's a good reason. But I think it's just one of these things where it's like, it is what it is, man. They don't need Xbox. They didn't even need PS5. They didn't need it. It actually, I think, benefited PlayStation more than it benefited them. It's clear that they could have just released this game as a PC exclusive and it would have done almost just as well. 16 million, 17 million units sold. So I think that that's something that people need to kind of just accept, right? It's the reality of the situation. This is what happens when you are not the market leader and you are struggling to sell consoles. Your console, when developers run into some potential issues, they're going to really start to question if it's going to be worth the extra development time and effort. Like, do they really think they're going to get sales? We have Corey Landiga coming in, dropping a super chat. Corey Landiga with the rare super chat here. He says, nice chem, mate. For missing the intro to Madam BG. Here's the tribute. Well, thank you for that, Corey. I do appreciate it, man. It's so strange seeing you dropping a super chat, bro. It's like whoa. It's rare. It's like coming across a rare item in a game. But I appreciate that, Corey. Thank you. I do hope you enjoyed the the conversation with me and Mrs. MEG yesterday. We also have Wabu Dude with the $10 super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, do you think that as this generation progresses and developers face increasing challenges putting their games on the Series S, Xbox might eventually stop supporting it? I do think that Microsoft may end up they may end support for the Series S a bit sooner than we think. Not like next year or the year after. I think the next generation Xbox is coming in holiday of 2026. And I think what Microsoft will announce is that they'll support the Series X and the S for like a year or two, till like 2028 or something. But I mean, if we were to see developers like collectively, if developers got together and were like, it's just like one after the other, and they're like, we're not releasing our game on Xbox because we're not dealing with the S. We can't. I think then Microsoft would have to make some kind of executive decision and be like, yeah, we just got to axe it now. We have no choice. But that hasn't happened. Instead, developers have actually been getting their games running on the S. GTA 6 will probably run on the S, right? They said they're making it for the S. And Corey comes in and drops a 20 bomb on you guys. Corey the legend, he's dropping a super chat and he's dropping more membership gifts. Corey, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for that. King Sam dropped that 50 bomb. You dropped 20. And we had a couple people either re-upping their memberships or becoming members. We got to feed the beast. Boss demanded it. Yeah. I don't know if his meow came through, but he demanded it. Corey answered the call. We got you, boss.
Boss, do you read me? It's time to feed the beast.
The first time giving him treats with the new camera. Let's see how it looks. Come on. All right. Well, boss is happy. So good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel and supporting boss's crippling addiction to his snacks. He can't function without them, man. He's completely addicted to these treats. By the way, Corey, I'll mention this too, since you dropped that 20 bomb for boss. I don't know if you saw it in any other previous streams, but recently I got him the backyard cookout. We got the backyard cookout once again. This is boss's favorite. This is what he goes crazy for. He actually went so crazy for this that he figured out how to open the top himself. So I got to always keep an eye on him. He's a maniac. He's actually going crazy these days. Anyone know how to stop insane buffering and stuttering watching the stream on the PS5? Can't maintain the 1080p either. I actually don't know. On PS5, I don't actually watch YouTube on PS5, so I'm not sure if it's a YouTube bug happened again. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. The YouTube app on PS5 is weird. I haven't watched YouTube on a PlayStation console in a long, long time. Yeah, you could try restarting it. My stream crashes, or at least the YouTube Studio it's still doing that crashing thing. Do you think Game Science will just make it seems like you're asking if I think Game Science will not put their next game on Xbox. I mean, I don't know, dude. At this point, maybe. I think they'll at least see. I think what's important to understand here is the developer clearly tried. I think it's important to understand that even though I said the reality is they don't need Xbox, they're not saying that. It is a truth, but they're not saying we don't need them. They're saying we tried and we couldn't figure it out. And I have seen some Xbox players getting mad online where they're like, these developers are just lazy. And I'm like, dude, they're not lazy. They're straight up telling you, like, we need more experience to be able to figure this out. Like, this is not easy. Like they're just basically saying, like, we're not really sure how to do this. It would take us years to figure it out. And this is what I mean when it's just like people are just in denial. They're in denial that if the reality based off of what this director is saying, the reality is, if Microsoft made it so that developers could choose, there wasn't a mandate, right? Like you can either make your game for just the Series X or both. I think this game would be out on the Series X. I do. But I don't think Microsoft's going to give them a pass on that. I think they should, but I don't think they will. And, from Microsoft's standpoint, you could kind of understand because it's like, I mean, damn, dude. If you bought a Series S, it's like, sorry, you can't play Wukong. I don't know, but then you kind of have a situation where it's like if you bought a Series X, you're being told you can't play Wukong, even though this game could definitely run on the Series X. You know, so I don't know which is worse at that point. But I want to get back to the statement that Microsoft put out because this is something that I just think is, I don't know, maybe I'm just holding on to things too tightly here. Maybe I care too much. I don't know. It's just I remember the headache that this caused me every time I tried to talk about Black Myth Wukong, where I had to deal with trolls and people being bitter and annoying about it, where Microsoft says we cannot comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders. I think it's kind of crazy that Microsoft is just going to get away with like basically straight up insinuating that there was an exclusivity deal of some kind of deal between Black Myth Wukong and Sony. And it's been pretty much completely shut down and proven that there was no deal. Any insider who reported on this deal, and believe me, I was looking it up, and actually, we'll just do it now. Check this out. This was 4 months ago. Paul Tassi, quote, "A source with knowledge of the situation has told me that Black Myth Wukong is not currently on Xbox because of an exclusivity deal and is not delayed because of any sort of technical issue." So not only were they claiming that it wasn't on Xbox because of an exclusivity deal, but they also doubled down on it's not because of a technical issue. And it's like, dude, it's not even that. And to be clear, Paul Tassi was not the only one reporting on this. He was not the only one reporting on this. Let me see if I can find some others. Jeff Grubb did say 4 months ago there's no PS5 exclusivity deal for Black Myth Wukong. So, as Cypherpunk pointed out, as it turns out, Sony has an exclusivity deal for Black Myth Wukong. This was reported 3 months ago. Trying to. Sourcing is not very good. August 29th, Black Myth Wukong may have a secret PS5 exclusivity deal. It's coming from Gaming Rant or Game Rant. Yeah, this was making the rounds, man, when the game launched. Insider reiterates PlayStation exclusivity deal with Black Myth Wukong. This was published today. Who's the insider that's reiterating it? Jez Corden apparently has truly doubled down on this, man. So apparently I wasn't aware of this. He tweeted today. This was at 5 a.m. He says, "All I know for certain is they told Xbox there is a deal in place, and Xbox believes there's a deal in place. I'm reporting what Xbox believed to be the case, at least back when I did my original report. They have so far declined to refute that." Is it just me or does something sound totally, totally wrong here? Like I don't get it. I don't get it. They've talked about they've talked multiple times about this game potentially coming to Xbox. Like it makes no sense to me, because when you look at the way Game Science has talked about Black Myth Wukong, okay, they never refrained from acknowledging Xbox. The way exclusivity deals work with PlayStation, and the way that they have always worked since the beginning of PlayStation, since the beginning of their, their time in the industry actually signing exclusivity deals, is you do not talk about the other platform. You do not acknowledge the other console. You don't do it. That's not how this works, When you sign an exclusivity deal, you are not allowed to acknowledge the other consoles. You do not talk about it. Game Science multiple times, including today, but even prior to today, multiple times acknowledged the Xbox side of it. And they were just like, yeah, we're still working on it. We're trying to figure it out. They didn't specifically name the Xbox Series S, but, it was insinuated. It needed more optimization. And this is just weird, because it's like, well, now we have an Xbox insider who also reported on this, saying that there was some kind of exclusivity deal, and now they're like tripling down on it, even though the developer just flat out said they're struggling with the 10 gigabytes of RAM on the Series S. And it's like, I'm just reporting on what I was told, and I was told that because that's what Microsoft was told. So like, you're telling me, listen, are we being told that Game Science themselves, Game Science told Microsoft there is a deal in place between us and Sony? And then somebody at Microsoft told Jez Corden, alongside other devs, or not devs, other insiders, that, yeah, Microsoft was told there was a deal in place. Like, I know it sounds like a steaming, heaping pile of bullshit is what it sounds like. I mean, even if it were to be true, it sounds like the biggest pile of bullshit, because it's like, what is going on here? That's not how this has ever worked. Sony would be screeching from the rooftops if Black Myth Wukong was exclusive to PS5. And to me, this is where everything begins to fall apart. Where it's like, I am still seeing people, by the way, at least on Twitter, in my reply section, I'm still seeing people basically saying, well, they still haven't refuted that there's a deal. I saw somebody yesterday leave an earnest reply saying, well, Sony's no stranger to pay, no, Sony's not a stranger to paying devs to optimize for their platform. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking? And people were agreeing with him. Like, I'm serious. Where's your proof, dude? You're just saying things. Developers go out of their way to optimize for the PS5 because they will fucking make money on sales. That's how Sony pays them, by basically saying, we have a large customer base on a large, well-known storefront. If your game does well here, you're likely to make a lot of money, and your game has a decent chance of doing well. It just makes no sense, dude. And this is what I mean, where it's like, why is it this difficult for people to just take a step back and be like, you know what? Maybe they just are not able to optimize it for the Series S. Maybe that's just the truth. Maybe it's that simple. And when people are like, well, no, that's not true, because look at all these other games. It's like, dude, this is the first time AAA developer. The games you're talking about are coming from studios and devs that have worked on games for years. In fact, a lot of the games that people are talking about are first-party Microsoft titles. Of course they're going to be super optimized for the Series S. I just don't understand why, for so many people, man, it's like, it's just like they can't fathom the idea. They can't fathom the idea that there is no exclusivity deal. The developer just simply chose to optimize for PS5 first because it has a bigger install base and a much higher chance of selling better. Not to mention that the genre of game itself probably has a wider appeal on the PlayStation platform. outside of PC, like when we're talking about consoles. And then today we have the developer literally stating himself that we're not experienced enough to optimize for the Series S. It is just, it's lunacy, man. This is I'm not surprised this is how we're starting off 2025. I'm not surprised. I do agree. There are some people that are just so they're in such a bubble. There is no reasoning with them. I mean, look, I get it. If you come across a post from somebody who's like, LOL, Xbox Series shitbox, whatever, sucks, and you're an idiot if you bought it, have fun never playing Black Myth Wukong, this console was a mistake. I understand if you're somebody who plays on the Series S or likes Xbox, why coming across a comment like that would annoy the shit out of you. But that doesn't mean that's actually what's true, Like, we need to look at the truth, look at what's real, and listen to the people who are trying to convey the actual truth here. King Sam, you're saying you uninstalled YouTube on the Pro, but now it won't reinstall, stuck on calculating. I mean, did you try restarting the entire console? That's kind of weird. Loads of games are coming out of China for PS5. Yeah, there's that too, man. Exactly, Hanzo. Like, there's been a very clear pattern, like you're saying, of a lot of Chinese games are choosing to support the PS5. I think some of them are supporting Xbox as well, but I don't know, man. If it turns out there is some kind of secret deal, then to me, at that point, it's something so inconsequential that it's like, I don't like here. So here's something I'll entertain. I'll entertain this notion here, right? Play devil's advocate. Let's say Sony did pay them to prioritize optimization on the PS5. I mean, what do we call that? That does not sound like an exclusivity deal. At least not in the way that an exclusivity deal would be. An exclusivity deal is just that. We are paying you to not put this game on the opposing platform. But we will sign a check for you to spend a little bit of extra time making sure you can get this game running on our console. Like, is that the secret deal? Because all I'm going to say to that is, yeah, Microsoft could write that check too. They could write a much bigger check. So if that's the case, let me get this straight. It's only okay to flaunt and flex Microsoft's deep pockets when it has to do with acquisitions, but not when it comes to prioritizing optimization for their platform. Am I reading this correctly? Again, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying this is the situation. I don't believe that's the situation. But if it were to be, because there are still people convinced that there's some kind of secret deal, this is why I think it's bullshit, dude. It's bullshit. It's just a constant moving of the goalpost, and this is the way it's been with Black Myth Wukong for the entire time, and it's annoying because it's just people need to accept this game is not on Xbox. There is a very specific reason it's not on Xbox, whether it's because Sony paid for them to optimize it, whether it's because there is no money being exchanged. We believe what the director's saying, and they're struggling with 10 gigabytes of RAM or shared memory, or just because they don't want to release it on Xbox. It doesn't matter. The point is, and this is another harsh truth that I think people just need to kind of accept, is that Black Myth Wukong, as of right now, is not on Xbox. It's just not. You can't play this game on Xbox. If you choose to buy an Xbox console right now, you are missing out on this game. Period. End of discussion. Doesn't matter who you want to point the finger at. Doesn't matter the reason you want to latch on to. What you should be doing, if you are an Xbox player, is rather than just, accepting the excuse that Microsoft's giving, where it's like, we can't comment on the deals that our partners make with other platform holders. Why don't you just turn to Microsoft and say, "Why can you just do something to get this game on our platform?" You can spend $68 billion to give us a game we were already going to get anyway, but you can't be bothered to spend some money to entice these developers to actually deliver the game to us, a game that we're otherwise not going to get. This is the problem. This is the problem right here. But instead, what I get to be met with, right? What I get to be met with is I put out a post. Here's my post. You ready? The director of Black Myth Wukong confirmed today the game is not on Xbox due to the Xbox Series S's shared 10 gigabytes of RAM. There was never a PlayStation exclusivity deal, contrary to the multiple insiders and reports that claim there was. Beneath that tweet, I also put the entire quote from the director where he says, but that's 10 gigabytes of shared memory. It's really impossible to get it without several years of optimization experience. But I have to walk into replies such as this. Some dude on Twitter replies to me just dropping the facts. I'm just dropping the facts. I'm not the director of Black Myth Wukong. I didn't decide this. I didn't decide that Black Myth Wukong isn't releasing on Xbox. But yet, I'm met with a top reply of, but say the whole quote. He actually said we can't port it because we lack experience, but you fanboys are faking the news. Indiana Jones, Space Marine, Black Ops 6, all better looking and heavier than Black Myth Wukong, work perfectly on the Xbox Series S. It's clearly a problem for the studio, not the console. So let me get this straight. Not only am I a fanboy for just literally posting what the director fucking said, word for word, okay? He says, say the whole quote. Bro, it's right fucking there. It's literally right there. The whole quote is in front of your fucking face, buddy. But he goes on to call me a fanboy and says I'm faking the news. I'm spreading fake news. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the bullshit. This is the bullshit where it's like, I could have said a million different things. I could have said, here's proof the Xbox Series S fucking sucks. Here's proof the Series S was a mistake. Here's why. Here's proof that developers are struggling with the Series S. I didn't say any of that shit. I just reported the fucking facts. That's all I did. And yet, these are the people. These are the people that end up floating to the top of the cesspool that is Twitter or X, right? Does anybody actually call it X? But this is why I'm ranting. Because there's nothing fanboyish about what I said. There's nothing fanboyish about what I did. There's nothing fake about anything I reported on here. I'm literally showing you, here's the director. This is how in denial some of these people are, dude. This is how in denial some of these people are. Where you have the director of a AAA video game flat out telling you this is why the game's not on your console. And it's like, no, dude, I'm pretty sure MBG's just a hardcore fanboy. Like, I'm pretty sure there's no way this is true. You're just a lying fanboy. That's what's nuts. Dude, this is what's nuts. This is what's nuts, where it's like, somebody else says, here's how much of a fanboy I am. You ready? If this game can't run on Xbox, I wonder how GTA 6 will fare. You know what my response was to him? Actually, I think Rockstar's going to figure it out. I don't underestimate their ability to do things no other development studio can. But we will see. And that's right. MBG's such a fanboy that he actually he's taking the side of Microsoft. He believes that GTA 6 will run on the Series S. That's how much of a fanboy MBG is. Navins, you're saying I see you got roaches in your chat. Who are they? Where are the roaches? I haven't been looking at the chat. I don't know. Some people like Broccoli Rob. I recognize him, but I don't know the person underneath him. I don't know, man. I'm just I'm just ranting over nothing. I'm in a fucking shit mood today, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in such a shitty mood today. It's amazing that I'm actually even here talking about this right now. Get Awesome Gaming, you're saying IGN hates GS West. It's fine to paint false narratives. I know what you're referring to, I think. There's like that IGN hit, was it like a hit piece on Game Science? I think we covered that. That was weird. That was weird. Yeah. Well, I don't know what the hell happened to IGN, man, but they are a joke these days. But check this out. Somebody else says, what about the part that says it's their experience that's lacking? Do we leave that aside? Bro, listen to me. This person literally asked me, do we ignore the part where they said we don't have the enough experience to optimize for the Series S? Do we ignore that? Like, dude, you tell me it's right in front of your face. I put it there for you to see. So you tell me if we ignore it or not. It's weird, dude. It's almost like people are like asking me, like, can you react to your own content, like to your own posts? Like, I know you're the one who put it out there, but can you also react to it as well? You know? Like, I guess I am. I guess I am. But I did reply to this person and I said, no, we don't leave it aside. It actually makes a lot of sense. The main revelation here is that there was never an exclusivity deal in place, even though it was claimed over and over again that was the reason it was not on Xbox. It's lunacy, dude. It's lunacy. See, this person's losing their mind a little bit too, because this person says, what the fuck is this translation? He was expressing appreciation and apologizing to Xbox users. He explained what the technical issue was they had to put the game on Xbox. The translation lost everything. Not true. Not true. See, this is people extracting what they want, not what is. What this person wants is to believe that the translation was bad. No. What the truth is, the translation is fine, and in my opinion, I don't even think it's an opinion. It conveys what it needs to convey. It's people reading it and not being able to use rational logic to understand what's actually being said here. For some reason, it seems a bit wrong. What do you mean? It seems a bit wrong to not release the game on Xbox? Yes, that's literally what he's saying. He's like, we would have liked to release it on Xbox. I just feel like it's not that hard to figure out, man. It's not. I understand it's a translation, but I think everything that needed to be conveyed was conveyed. He's not even blaming the Series S. He's just saying the 10 gigabytes of shared memory in the Series S, we don't have enough experience to figure this shit out. I don't know, man. It's always nonsense with stuff like this. It's always nonsense. Another person says, so how is it that Hellblade 2, Space Marine 2, Microsoft Flight Simulator runs just fine on the Series S? Seems like they don't know how to optimize well. He literally said that. I don't know, man. I feel like I want to lose my mind at this point. I want to lose my mind. I'm trying not to be like rude to people though, because like I am trying to keep in mind that like it is a translation. Some people really might not actually understand what they're reading. I get it. I'm trying to get it, but it's like, dude, he basically said we're not really that great at optimization, and it's like, you know what? I don't think you're good at optimization. It's like, we just said that, but yeah, it's so, dude. Twitter's not real, man. Michael Lynch, you're saying I don't feel bad for Xbox. How much proof do you need that Microsoft are liars and incompetent? Get a PS5 and play all the games. I mean, this is what's frustrating to me, man. What's frustrating to me is people are ignoring the Microsoft side of things here. And look, maybe I'm still trying to play devil's advocate. I don't know why. I'm probably stupid for doing that. But I mean, I'm still trying to play devil's advocate and just being like, okay, what if it does come out that Sony paid them to prioritize optimization? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear a single Xbox player talk to me about money being spent from any of these companies. I don't want to hear a damn word, because you are talking about the same people that were literally making memes and charts about Microsoft's cash flow in the game industry. I don't want to hear it. That's bullshit. And that's why I'm saying, like, even in the worst case here, the worst case, Paul Tassi, Jez Corden, I think nobody believes them at this point, but worst case, they were correct. At the end of the day, it's like, oh, look, Game Science admitted it. Sony paid them to prioritize optimization. We still cry to Sony, the company that's apparently too poor to even afford Katakawa. This is what I'm talking about, dude. This is the shit that these people are running with. Sony's apparently too poor to even afford Katakawa, right? They just can't do it, but they could afford to just drop optimization money left and right to studios. I don't know, dude. It's just a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of nonsense. Patrice O'Neill put it best about Twitter. MacTube, you're saying this is why you just need to give up on Xbox. Their fans are sooner toxic and their company is incompetent. Just let them go. They're causing you too much stress. It's not Xbox, dude. Like, I think Microsoft's comment, from my perspective, Microsoft's comment threw a lot of fuel onto the fire, and then they didn't say anything more. They didn't say anything more. And to me, that's questionable, because it's like, bro, it seems like there's no deal that was made. And you're heavily implying there was. If there was a deal, you should just say it. Can somebody just say it? Nobody will say it. Certain insiders are saying it. Others are refuting it. So it's not Xbox as a brand that's bothering me. It's just the insanity. It's the insanity of people just like ignoring like what's actually going on. And it just seems to be very persistent these days. Illegal Monkey says MBG, according to recent data, around 54% of American adults have a reading comprehension level below a 6th grade level. What the actual fuck? What? I mean, a part of me is not surprised at all. The weirdest thing I notice a lot is how some people think buying your own games is a bad thing. Yeah, I can understand feeling that buying games is expensive and it's an expensive hobby, but I don't know why people try to paint it as like a bad thing. Like, what? You want to own your video games? What? What's wrong with you? Thank you, Hansa. Hanzo. I said Hansa. Get Awesome Gaming, you're saying, I asked Jez Corden myself if he asked Xbox about a deal. He said they literally volunteered that comment. It wasn't even part of the question. Well, I think that if there's something that I a conclusion I can come to here with this whole Black Myth Wukong situation, it's that I just think there should be overall more transparency. I don't think game science is completely totally innocent. However, I guess it depends on how you frame it, because it's like if they I was going to say it would have been great if game science could have just said from the get-go they're having trouble with the Series S. But if you think about it, their goal is to have a healthy partnership with Microsoft and release a game on their storefront. They don't want to throw Microsoft under the bus. At least that would not be a good business decision, right? If you're trying to establish a good relationship with a big company like Microsoft, especially an American company, right? You're going to try to avoid making it obvious that you're struggling to get the game running on their console, because it's going to create a lot of what we're seeing now. But at some point, the truth has to come out, man. The truth has to come out, where it's like it's been months and months, and players are going to start to ask, like, where's the game? And I just think that this was the director's way of just letting everybody know, like, this is why it's not here. Also, did anyone catch that they actually flexed about Flight Simulator despite the fact that it's got more bugs than any other game this year? We don't talk about that, MacTube. We don't acknowledge that stuff. We don't do it. We don't do it, I mean, to be honest, I don't know. I haven't even looked into Flight Simulator, but there's this level of toxicity surrounding any conversations surrounding PlayStation and Xbox related things. There's this level of toxicity that ramps up and escalates very, very quickly, to a point where, like I said, I can't. It's not I always say this to you guys. I always say this. It's not the responses that I see from people. There's a lot of very, very stupid people in the world. There's a lot of ignorant people. This is nothing new. We all know this. But what is surprising to me is that some of the dumbest replies, or just some of the most lacking replies in terms of comprehension and bigger picture thinking, these are the replies that tend to get a good amount of support and get noticed. And that to me is always what blows my mind. It's like I said, like, I'll read this to you right here. This person says, it's not like PlayStation hasn't paid developers to simply say optimization issues before. Plus, this doesn't track. If you got two of the best visually impressive games than Wukong on the device, along with other games that are leagues ahead of that, I'm still calling cap. So this person shows no proof. He just says Sony pays devs to say optimization issues. He makes this claim, shows no proof of it, because there seemingly is no proof, then goes on to say, no, game science is lying. Game science is lying because there are good-looking games on the Series S. So I'm going to call cap. So you're going to call cap on the director of a AAA game, straight up admitting that we're having trouble optimizing the Series S. But you're not going to question the idea of PlayStation simply paying developers to say optimization issues. This is the mental illness. Okay? This is the delusion, the clownery, the mental illness that is proliferating at a rapid and concerning rate. And I got annoyed, dude, and this person underneath him replied and said, show proof where PlayStation paid devs to say optimization issues. And I responded to this guy and I said, you won't see anything, dude. There is no fucking proof. I can't deal with this fucking app anymore. Every day, I'm just seeing more and more made up bullshit float to the top of this cesspool, because that's exactly the truth. But it does make for some good entertainment, I guess. I can't delete Twitter, bro. My posts got over 600,000 views. You see how I'm chained to it? I can't delete it. I'm chained to it. But make no mistake, that narrative, that general narrative of just, I'm just going to make shit up, it's not true. There is no proof. I don't need to show you proof. That general narrative, that's everywhere now. I think it's most prevalent on places like Twitter, but it's everywhere now. Michael, you're saying, I don't think these Xbots understand how massive BMW is. Chapter 3 alone is as big as Hellblade 2. I mean, maybe they do understand. Maybe that's why there's so much frustration right now. Maybe that's why people are losing it or people are getting so defensive. People are practically starting to attack the developers now. Maybe it's because they do understand. Oh, shit. I don't think we're getting this game. At least not anytime soon. I mean, Black Myth Wukong is a game that, for a lot of people, it was their game of the year. It is a big game. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? People are going to come to their own conclusions, and that's fine. Can't stop them. Something else I've been seeing a lot of people bringing up is they're like, listen, they're like, this game can run on the Steam Deck. They're lying about not being able to figure out for the Series S. They're lying. I mean, a Steam Deck is not a Series S, dude. Like, how many developers have come out and expressed problems getting their game running on the Steam Deck? $16 GB on the Steam Deck. We just ignored that. If it can run on a Steam Deck, it can easily run on a Series S. Listen, man, apparently I had to own somebody yesterday. I wasn't trying to. Like, dude, I'm not kidding. I was not trying to. And I felt a little bit bad because I'm like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. But this person says, so it's pretty much the developers are lazy and don't want to port the game. Hellblade 2 and Indiana Jones can run on Xbox Series S, and those are Unreal Engine 5. Black Myth can surely run on Series S. Jesus, if any game can run on PS5, it can run on the S. Like I said, Xbox Series S Defense Force really coming out here swinging, bro. If it can run on the PS5, it can, for sure, no matter what, run on the Series S. Person is speaking extremely earnestly about it, okay? So I responded. Here's what I said to them. I said, I think that's the wrong takeaway. The developers are struggling to get it working with the Series S hardware due to it being underpowered. Now, that's what I said because I think it's true. I think when they say that we're struggling with 10 gigabytes of RAM, it seems like if they had more RAM, they would not be struggling. But it's also because they're struggling, they admit they have some optimization. They have some inexperience in optimization. So I said they're struggling with it due to it being so underpowered. It doesn't seem to be laziness. They would obviously like more sales. Okay, that's what I said. Somebody else, and this is the person I had to own because I'm like, this is what I mean. Where it's like, people, I feel like you have to have a license or some shit to have these social media accounts, or there's got to be some filter, because this person actually replied by saying, no, it's not. Looks like you've never seen a Series S working. It's a beast. I shit you not. That's what this another person replied, and that's what they said. They said it dead ass serious. No, it's not. It's a fucking beast. It's a beast, bro. The Series S is a beast. It's an absolute beast. I just said to this guy, I said, you're right. I forgot. You directed a AAA Unreal Engine 5 game before and released it on multiple platforms. My bad. That's what you're dealing with these people. That's what you're dealing with. People who will come out, look you dead in the eye, and say, I know better than a fucking director of a AAA game. I know better. I've done nothing in the gaming industry. I know better. You listen to me. It's insane, dude. Kane Z7, you're saying Happy New Year's, MBG and chat. The trust is people just, or they're saying the truth is people just extract what they want to hear. Exactly. Like when Stellar Blade devs said there was no censorship on their game, but the anti-woke mob still kept saying it was. For months, the devs know. I remember that too, yeah. You're right. That's the thing, man. This is the nonsense. And I don't know. I guess it's just I was kind of hopeful that going into 2025, maybe we would see less of this, but starting off 2025 strong. No, they did change the outfits. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying if the developer of the game, you know what I mean? It's like they came out and they said, no, we were not censoring it. We were not asked to censor it. Hence why, by the way, they did change it back. That to me was the proof that, holy shit, all the people who didn't believe them, they changed it back. Like, I'm fairly certain if Sony was like, you're going to censor that shit, Sony would not just bend the knee and be like, never mind. No, I'm pretty sure it's like they made the change themselves. They said they did, and then they're like, oh, we really made people angry. Let's just put it back. I don't... There's a naked suit in there, dude. I don't know, man. I can't see the entire vagina. The fuck is wrong with you guys? Get your shit together. How the fuck am I supposed to enjoy this game? What? You want to cover up? You want to... I'm about to become so unsafe for work. It's not even funny. I'm just saying. Mrs. MBG had to open the door and give me the look. Like, you all right? I am not all right. But it's okay. We'll get through it. We'll get through it together, guys. But I guess look, something tells me this is not the last we're going to hear of Black Myth Wukong in regards to Xbox. Take a breather. I know, dude. I don't know. I got I think I'm just running on adrenaline, bro. I'm just running on adrenaline at this point. Better, huh? At what? Being inept? Such a winner. Exactly, bro. We got Mo Money coming in. I love Mo Money. Mo Money comes in and decides to become a channel member. Guys, I want to see some W's flowing in the chat for Mo Money, showing some direct support, joining the, I guess, I don't know. Some people call it the MBG Army. I don't really call it that, but joining the community either way. Thank you for that, man. I do appreciate the support. We are sitting at 80 members for the day, by the way. Mo Money, you just brought us up to 80. King Sam, hopefully, will be able to MBG Nation. There we go. Yeah, Muscle Bound Nation. We all got to be muscle. Everybody's buff. Even the babies are buff. The cats are buff. The animals are buff too. MBG crew. That doesn't sound too bad. MB Gangstas. It's always got to be MB Gangstas. But yeah, we're 80 members, guys. We'll see if somebody wants to drop that 20 bomb, get us to 100 on the day. We're going to get another 100 members today. I think King Sam's still going to drop that 50 later on. So we still got that. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe I don't know. YouTube I think imploded on him on the PS5. I don't know what's going on there. Time to start selling synthol in the merch store. Capono's saying he's getting lunch. Does anybody want anything? No, I'm good, bro. I ate before I went live. Appreciate you asking, though. As a Marine, I cannot in good conscience be part of an army. I understand. I respect it. But can you be part of a gang? MBH, we're the homies. Muscle-bound homies. That's actually not too bad. I don't know. I feel like I would struggle with that one, though. It's not bad, though. Not bad. You're fasting in 2025. You got to get lean before I can get buff. Well, I hope your fast goes well, man. MacTube, you're saying, MBG, I've seen Black Myth Wukong win more Game of the Year awards at multiple award shows than any other game. Xbox really messed this one up. Well, listen. Here's where I'll close out this specific topic and we'll move on. I think that this is why you got to be careful when it comes to stuff like this. And what I mean by that is there are these reports every now and again where they're all over the place. Okay, you got one person over here saying one thing, another over here saying the complete opposite. Then you got some people in the middle saying something totally different from both. And then you got Microsoft coming in saying something. I feel like when we see stuff like this happen, the best thing to do is to not jump to conclusions. And I never did jump to conclusions with this. Even back when Microsoft was giving their statements and the insiders were saying this, I said I didn't believe it. I definitely said that because I didn't. I was like, this does not seem like an exclusivity deal. And if it is, it's the weirdest one I've ever seen with Sony. Sony is being very strange for no reason. But I did say we need to keep an open mind, right? I did say that we can't call it definitively because there's conflicting statements and nobody, Game Science, nor Sony, nor Microsoft would come out and definitively state what's actually going on. And I feel like this is the closest thing, if not the definitive thing, where the director of the game has let us know what is going on. So for me, this is kind of going to close this chapter and close this specific book. But I do suspect that maybe there could be more that comes out. But we will continue to see, I think, stuff like this. And what I would always encourage people is don't jump to conclusions, or at least try not to. Or just at least understand that the conclusion, if you choose to jump to a conclusion, you could be wrong because there's too much we don't know yet. We need to let the picture come more into focus. Michael Lynch, you're saying this specific subject is where Rich Rod needs to just chime in and go off on Xbox. Yeah, I know, right? Rich Rod misses the most important moment for him to shine. But something tells me I'm going to be talking about my game of the year 2024, and he's going to make me read some kind of crazy donation. Gaming Survivor, once again referencing to Tokism. It's all true and real. I hope it is, dude. I hope it is. Oh, man. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move on to the second half of this stream. Am I going to stream CES? I don't think so. Because the time at which CES airs live for me, I think I'll be in bed. But I will react to it the next day, or we'll talk about what was announced. I have no idea how much Sony plans to talk about PlayStation at CES, but we'll talk about it. We'll cover it. I will cover it for sure. All right. The second half of this stream today is going to be focused on me talking about my personal game of the year. MBG, what is your game of the year for 2024? Also, I'm going to be telling you guys what games I platinumed throughout 2024. 2024. And I want to start by saying, because I see somebody asking, I have 45 platinums. I have 45 total platinum trophies now. But so here's how I'm going to break this down. Okay. By the way, guys, before we proceed, do me a favor and please hit that like button. All right. Hit the like button. We're sitting at 152 likes. I want to really push to see if we can hit that 200 like mark. I'd really appreciate that. What's my finest platinum? I'd have to look over my entire list for that one. Not sure. Those are rookie numbers. I mean, they're not, I don't know. I feel good about my 45 platinums. It's not the most. Certainly not. But I enjoyed them. Do I have the platinum for Returnal? I do have the platinum for Returnal. Yeah. That one was tough because of the glyphs. I have the Ghost of Tsushima platinum. You're saying no, those are good. No, you're saying that some people have BS platinum trophies. Yeah, the 45 platinum trophies I have, I've made sure that they're games I really want to platinum. But let me give you. So here's how I'm gonna do this. Okay. First, I'm gonna run down my favorite games of 2024. Now, my favorite games of 2024, simply put, are games that I did play. It doesn't mean I have to beat them. Okay. My favorite games, I'll tell you which ones I did and didn't beat, but just games that I played throughout the year of 2024 that I did enjoy. I'm only human. There are times where I start games and I do enjoy them, but I don't finish them. And I usually, hopefully, get back to them later. There are some games that I played throughout 2024 that I didn't really enjoy so much. Not a whole lot. But I'm going to run down this list now. And then after that, I'm going to give you my top 5 games of 2024. And then I'm going to end it with my game of the year for 2024. And then we'll go over the platinums. Okay. All right. So I have 12 games here that I have on my favorite games of 2024 list. I'm going to start from 12 and I'll go in the order that I wrote them. So Silent Hill 2 Remake is one of my favorite games of 2024. Fantastic game. Highly recommend it. Game I waited for quite some time. The second game on my list is Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 was an awesome game. Really a surprising game. I did expect that I was going to enjoy the game, so it was always going to make this list. But man, I cannot understate just how much I really enjoyed Helldivers 2. Game number 3, Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is a game I played in January, and it's a long time since I played Tekken. I haven't played Tekken in many, many years, and I was like, you know what? I think I'll return to it this year, and I had a good time with it. I did. I didn't spend that much time with it, but I did enjoy what I played. My 4th favorite game of 2024. And again, these are, by the way, I want to make sure these games are not in any particular order. This is not like a countdown list, okay? The 12 games I'm listing are just the games. So, it's not like Helldivers is, I didn't specifically put that at number 2. It's just, My 4th favorite game of 2024, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I was not able to finish it. I did finish Silent Hill 2. I finished Tekken 8. I did not finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I actually went to go check how much time I had, and I had 30 hours in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So I did enjoy my time with it. It was a good game. It was fun. I fell off of it and was not able to see it through to the end. And we have Jonathan Baxter coming in and becoming a channel member. Jonathan, thank you so much for that, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sorry, definitely appreciate the support. Shout out really quick before I continue with my list here. Just a shout out to all of you guys that are opting in to become paying channel members. We love the channel gifts. A lot of people very generous gifting memberships, but I just want to give a special shout out also to those of you who are choosing to support the channel month over month. I really do appreciate it. So again, we will be doing a members lounge. I'm going to have to give a warning. I'm going to have to give a warning for today's members lounge. But we'll get there. We'll get there. We got some heavy shit to talk about in the members lounge, man. All right. All right, man. Keep it together. Keep it together, MBG. You got this. We'll make it through. We'll make it through. All right. So, getting back to the list here, my 5th favorite game of 2024 is Lies of P. I played Lies of P in January, and what an awesome game, dude. Like, I can't wait to see the DLC. I can't wait to see what they do next. Awesome, awesome game. My 6th favorite game of 2024 is Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is another awesome one. Really, really fun game. Better than I expected. You know, Stellar Blade was a game that, as I was watching it throughout the years, you know, it kind of it showed up on you know, it showed up at multiple state of plays. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm interested in this. But then the last state of play they showed, I'm like, okay, this actually looks sick. And it lived up. It was a really fun game. My 7th favorite game of 2024, Stray. I played Stray finally this year, and man, what a phenomenal game. What a phenomenal game. I really, really enjoyed Stray. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it nearly as much as I did. So shout out to Stray. Great game. Very great game. Number 8, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So this is the first year that I actually felt really excited to get back into Call of Duty. And it did not disappoint. I thought it had a great campaign, or at least a better campaign than previous years or recent years. Zombies was actually really fun, and I am enjoying the multiplayer. I've been enjoying the multiplayer. So Black Ops 6 is at my number 8 spot. My number 9, Rise of the Ronin. Rise of the Ronin is another game that kind of surprised me. I was excited for it. I thought it looked good, but I ended up having way more fun with it than I expected. Rise of the Ronin was actually like a really, really solid game. Graphically, not the most impressive game, but doesn't matter. I think what it did really well. The combat was really fun. So shout out to Team Ninja with what they did with Rise of the Ronin. Number 10, Astrobot. Astrobot absolutely was one of my favorite games of 2024. What a delightful game. A lot of nostalgia, but also great platforming, and very, very impressed with what Team Asobi cooked up with Astrobot. Free DLC. I made sure to go play the DLC as well. So big shout out to Team Asobi and Astrobot last year. Got to get used to saying that. Number 11 for my favorite games of 2024, Until Dawn, the remake. And I played the original, so I'm just going to count both. But honestly, dude, Until Dawn might be the biggest surprise here on the list, because that was a game that I was not excited to play. I got to be honest. Like, I just picked it up because I was like, you know, it's something that I should at least try and give it a shot. But I don't know. I've heard really good things about it, but it never really appealed to me from what I saw. Played it, and man, it actually very quickly became one of my favorite games. So Until Dawn, definitely a standout game for me in 2024. And then number 12, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. Not my favorite game on the list, but a game that I still enjoyed. And you know what I enjoyed about Hellblade 2? I appreciated the story, I have to admit. I thought that the acting was good. And the game's pacing was off, and I was struggling a bit in the middle, but the payoff, I think, was there. I actually really did enjoy the story of Hellblade 2, and I thought it was well executed, and the ending I thought was pretty cool. So those are my 12 favorite games of 2024. Again, they're not in any particular order. No, Black Myth Wukong is not on there, dude. Ironically enough. I think it's mainly because I didn't play enough of it. I didn't dislike what I played of Black Myth Wukong, but the thing is, I picked up Black Myth Wukong, I only played it for a little bit, and then I put it down and I walked away from it. I don't feel like I can give a read on it. If I were to say it was one of my favorite games, it would be disingenuous, because I just didn't put enough time in it. There were still many things about the game I didn't understand, and I was still learning. So it's a game that maybe I'll get back to because I mean, people love it, and it's like, dude, this is one of the best games ever. But I couldn't put it on my list because I just simply didn't play enough of it. I felt comfortable putting Final Fantasy VII on there because I put, again, over 30 hours into it. Um, but yeah, this list that I just read off, that list was not in any particular order. The next list we're going to do are my top 5 games of 2024. Okay. And this list is in order. So this is the second section here. And the number one game, by the way, on this next list that I'm going to read to you is my game of the year for 2024. All right. So we're going to start here. Top 5 games. So we are whittling the list down. My top 5 games of 2024 in order, starting with number 5. Number 5, Stray. Stray, honestly, I think this game, when I look at the 5 that I have listed here, this game was the most surprising to me. I totally passed on Stray, and I actually didn't really have any interest in playing it. But at some point in the summer, I think somebody just like casually recommended it to me, and I was like, all right, yeah, maybe I'll just pick up a physical copy. And God, man, it was such an enjoyable title. I was not expecting it to hit as hard as it did. I gotta say, like, the gameplay was unique. It was fun. Nothing too crazy, but the story that was told and like the commentary that was there, uh, way deeper than I expected. And so Stray is absolutely on my top 5, hands down, for sure. So that's my number 5 pick. Yeah, the end of Stray is sad. And it was like, dude, like hit me harder than I expected. I was like, no way. Hey, speaking of Stray, my cats are fighting. And we have Carlos Gonzalez coming in and re-upping his membership as well. Carlos, thank you so much, man. Absolutely love to see it. We're seeing more and more people opting in to become paying members, and I very, very much appreciate that, man. So that brings us up to 82 members on the day, by the way. So 18, and we hit 100. Boss, come on. Boss is being bad. If we get 18 more memberships, I'll give Boss some more treats because he's clearly getting feisty. All right, so we're gonna move on to my number 4 game. Number 4 on the list for my top 5 games of 2024, Until Dawn. Okay, as I said just a moment ago, Until Dawn. I don't know. It's kind of a tie. The biggest surprise of 2024 is a tie between Stray and Until Dawn. These are 2 games that I was a bit hesitant to go into playing, but I had some level of interest, and I was actually blown away by how much I thoroughly loved them and enjoyed them. I thought, I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be honest. I thought the way people talked about Until Dawn throughout all these years, I thought that they were kind of blowing smoke. I thought that they were being a bit, they were exaggerating a little bit. They were being a bit over the top. But after experiencing it, I was like, yeah, this I think is one of my favorite games ever now. It's just, I'm super excited. Apparently Until Dawn 2 is in the works. And so I don't know if it's going to be as good, but I am definitely interested in it now. And here's how you know that here's proof of how much I enjoyed Until Dawn. We heard rumors of Until Dawn 2 being in development before I played this game. I didn't give a shit, dude. I didn't give a shit. I'm like, whatever, man. That doesn't sound exciting to me. I didn't play Until Dawn. To me, that's like, it just felt kind of disappointing. I'm like, really? Until Dawn 2? Now, after playing it, I'm like, hell yeah. I am super stoked for a sequel to Until Dawn. Please, please nail it. I can't wait to see it. So that's my number 4 game for 2024. We're going to move on to my number 3 game. You're saying that's the Xbox stealing you. My number 3 game, Astrobot. How could it not be Astrobot? Astrobot was, I have to say, it's the type of game that I don't normally play, and I'm not the biggest fan at all of like 3D platformers. I just really don't play them. But I did play Astro's Playroom, and because of that, I'm like, yes, I am stoked for Astrobot. And I was wondering if Astrobot would be able to live up to the lofty expectations because Astro's Playroom was so good. It's like, ooh, man, you guys got to like double and triple up now on the content. Will you be able to do it? And I think that they absolutely nailed it. So Astrobot's my number three. I One of the aspects I want to throw this in here too, and this actually applies to Until Dawn. I did play Until Dawn with Mrs. MBG. That enhanced my experience. Astrobot, I played some segments with Mrs. MBG, but also my son has been playing Astrobot, got really into it. And so I can't deny that having that kind of family bonding experience with some of these games definitely enhances the overall experience. And so when I think about Astrobot now, there is this kind of like, I don't know, it gets a little bit of special, it has a bit of a special place because of, how fond my son is of it, and Mrs. MBG really likes it too. So Astrobot definitely on my top five. But we are now with we've reached number two. The number two game, okay? My second favorite game of 2024. Got to give it to Helldivers 2, man. Yeah, Rudy got it. Helldivers 2 game blew me away. Some of the most fun I've had in a multiplayer game in a long, long time. I think I dumped well over 100 hours into it, which I know isn't the most. There are definitely multiplayer live service games that I put more time into, but I just think what was special about Helldivers 2 for me is it was a breath of fresh air, like it's kind of what many people say about Helldivers 2, where it's like, this game is very unique. There's really nothing quite like it out there. And when I was playing it, I was expecting a good game, but I was not expecting it to feel like, for those who did play Helldivers 2, I don't know. There's something about the gameplay mechanics. I think it might be the game engine that they use, but something about it just feels totally unique and has, I don't know. It's hard to, it just feels so good to play. And the co-op aspect, the humor, it all just came together. There was, the camaraderie, the community. It was really great. I don't play it anymore, but I mean, I did go back to it for a little bit to try out the new update. But it's one of those games where I'm satisfied with the amount of time I put into it. But it's easily one of the biggest standouts of 2024 for me. So Helldivers 2, my number two, and with that, we are going to move on to my number one game of 2024, my game of the year for 2024. Do we have any guesses before I reveal what it is? Do we have any guesses? Seeing people saying Silent Hill 2. Unknown says Concord. Uh-oh. Unknown, I think, guessed it. Space Marine 2. Indiana Jones. I love that people are guessing games that weren't even on my top 12. I'll just let you guys guess for a little bit longer. Call of Duty. Call of Duty's my game of the year. Now, Call of Duty is really good, but it's not my game of the year. All right. Well, it's time to reveal it. My game of the year for 2024 is Silent Hill 2 Remake. Yes, I have to give it the Silent Hill 2 Remake because just an absolutely incredible, phenomenal, unbelievable game, and I am just shocked. I still can't believe, dude. I still can't believe that Bloober team made this game. I can't believe they pulled it off. Silent Hill 2 has just one of the best stories ever told in any medium. The psychological horror, there's just psychological aspect of it is so gripping, and it really, like, the depth and I don't know, just seeing that brought up the way it was brought up, man. Navins, you're like unsub. I'm just being honest, man. It was my favorite. It's a game. It's a game I think about most. It is. Really dark, really hard hitting, really thought provoking, and the gameplay was incredible. I will say it wasn't perfect. There was a little bit of pacing, a little bit of a pacing problem, I think, with Silent Hill 2 Remake. That's like the only criticism I have for it. I think that there were some segments that they basically drew out a little bit too long. They didn't have to when it comes to like trying to solve puzzles and whatnot. But it's a very minor criticism. Everything else just blew me away. And I know it's all good, Nominzer. It's all good. But Silent Hill 2, man, it's just one of these things where I can't believe how wrong I was, right? Like, I remember when we heard about the rumor like years ago that Bloober Team's remaking Silent Hill 2, I was kind of excited, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about that. That doesn't sound very exciting to me. I'm actually a little bit nervous. I'm rooting for them, but I'm nervous. And I'm so glad to be this wrong, where it's like, bro, they fucking killed it. No pun intended. If you know, you know. They killed it, and I saying we flat out mocked it. And the first trailer looked kind of bad. I remember, dude. I remember. So I gotta hand it to Silent Hill 2. Not only is it just the biggest upset, I would say, in terms of just how unexpectedly amazing it turned out, but it proves something important, I think, about Silent Hill 2 remake, or just Silent Hill 2 in general, and that story really is timeless. It is. And King Sam comes in. He does it. King Sam takes it home. He literally waited 24 hours for YouTube to let him drop another 50 bomb. He dropped 100 member gifts. King Sam.
Holy shit.
King Sam, between yesterday and today, dropped a whopping 200 membership gifts. The GOAT so far of January of 2025 has to be King Sam. He without King Sam, we wouldn't have been able to get to the goal. I honestly believe that. He encouraged you guys. He was like, listen, he's like, if you guys get us the 200 to 300 members we need, I'll drop the last 200. And he did it. He was good for it. He's a man of his word. Showing huge support for the channel. I gotta give credit to everybody, man. People today dropping memberships. Corey, he's always been showing huge support, but we had Michael Wernith yesterday, Matt Fu, Titus, you dropped some today. I don't have all the names in front of me, but you know who you are. You know who you are. So thank you so much for that, man. That's another 50 bomb, and I got to see where that brings us. I got to give Boss a couple more treats. Boss, what was your game of the year? Temptations. This is game of the year. Yeah, Hellbound always showing huge support too. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it, man. Did you see Kanye West say The Last of Us 2 was the best game ever? So random. Yeah, he really just damaged that game's reputation, bro. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that is so random. I'm like, what timeline am I in? Where it's like I wake up in 2025 and it's like, well, MBG, this is one of the first stories you're gonna have to deal with. Kanye West has come out and said that The Last of Us 2 is one of the best games ever made. It is the best game ever made. Oh, I got to give Luna some treats too. Also give you a couple more. But King Sam, guys, listen, if we have any new viewers here right now, okay? If we have any new viewers here, make sure you click either of the 50 bombs up top. Make sure you're opted in to potentially receive a membership gift. I'm going to update the member counter, And this will be the last day this specific counter's up, but I want to show you where we are at. I think we're over the goal. We're definitely over the goal. So where we at? We're at 1279, guys. 1279. So you guys really came through in a big way. So we're actually over the goal now. We are 21 members away from hitting 1,300 total members. I think that's in a over the course of like 3.5 weeks. So seriously, thank you guys so much for that, man. That's colossal support. You were able to unlock the reward of a Mrs. MBG reveal. We did that yesterday in the members lounge, and Mrs. MBG will now be a regular part of the members content, but also part of the channel. What's the next goal? I'm actually not sure yet. I'll take the 79 though. If I do come up with a second goal, like a stretch goal, I got to think about how I want to do this, you know? Because I think it would be a good idea. I'm not sure exactly what to do as a reward. That's what I'd have to put the thought into, because I want the reward to feel worth it, especially if it's going to be over the course of a month. But the morning, so the whole thing is the morning with the misses. I don't think is going to be like I don't want to make that goal driven. I mean, I want that to like drive people to become members or gift members, but I don't want to like hold it back. Like we're only doing a morning with the misses if we hit X amount of members by the end of the week. I could experiment and do it that way, but you know, it would I think be simpler to try to do monthly goals, but the reward would have to be something that ends up feeling worth it. I mean, there's always going to be people who are going to gift memberships no matter what to show support, but will us non-member peasants ever get a Mrs. MBG reveal? Yeah, we'll be doing something. I think I'm going to wait to see if the Switch 2 reveal event is going to get announced, because I'm assuming if it's going to happen next week, it'll get announced next week, because me and Mrs. MBG would like, as long as we can schedule it correctly, we would like to react to that together, and that would be a public stream. So I'm going to wait a couple days and see what's going on there. Should do a Mrs. MBG channel. She should focus on games and consoles that she likes to play. Maybe we could just do segments like that with Mrs. MBG, you know? I don't think it, I mean, I don't know, maybe we could do a whole second channel. It's possible, but I wouldn't mind, you know, we have over 100,000 subscribers here. We have a community. I wouldn't mind letting her do some dedicated stuff if she's comfortable with that or wants to do that. Saying no to revenue streams. I like the way you think, Broccoli Rob. Two different audiences. I'm not so sure about that, actually, believe it or not. The reason why I say that is because, like I said, Mrs. MBG, she plays games that I see you guys talk about that, like, I know you would want to hear me talk about it, but I'm like, I'm not playing that game. Meanwhile, I think she would actually be totally open to playing that game. There have been multiple games she's talked to me about that she would like to play that you guys have mentioned, and I'm like, I ain't playing that. So I think she might be able to fill in certain gaps for games here that I've been lacking with. But either way, man, thank you guys so much. You know, big goals being hit here with memberships. I very much appreciate it. Luna, what's wrong? I gotta let Luna out. J Dash the Duelist, a member for 5 months, says my 2024 game of the year is Trails Through Daybreak. Saying it's a 2021 game, but they only localized it last year and is part of your all-time favorite series, and Metaphor took inspiration from it. Interesting. Yeah, I played a couple of games this year that did not come out this year, as you know, and I count that. I like for me, if a game, it doesn't matter when a game comes out, it matters what year you play it. So like if you played a game, like you're saying, your 2024 game of the year is a game that came out in 2021, I think that's totally fair. Never heard of it though. Hold on one sec. Okay, I am running out of steam, guys. Not gonna lie, I'm running out of steam. All right, so here's what we'll do. I have one more list that I have to run down with you guys before we wrap today's stream up. But I'm gonna make this a last call for any members, any member gifting. If you want to become a channel member, if you want to drop any super chats, direct donations, anything like that, now is the time to do it because we're going to be wrapping this up. We're going to be going to a members lounge, and I'm going to say this at least 2 more times, and I will let people know when we do have the members lounge today that today's members lounge is going to be a heavy one, and it's going to be I don't know, it's going to be intense, I think, but I got it. I don't know. We'll talk about it when we get there. We're going to be probably moving over to that in the next 10 or so minutes. All right. So we'll do a last call for that. But the final list that I want to go over is the games that I platinum this year. All right. So here are my platinums for 2024. Number 1, Lies of P. Lies of P, one of my top platinums ever. That game almost broke me early in the year, but I did it. I persisted. So Lies of P, very hard earned, well fought platinum. The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. I know, shocking. But when I bought it, I bought it mainly to play the new game mode, which I keep forgetting. No Return, I think is what it's called. But I decided, you know what? I'm just going to commit to getting the platinum this time, replay the game. It was just something I felt kind of the urge to get done. And so I got that platinum. Didn't feel as bad about it this time around, obviously, because I knew what to expect. The next platinum that I earned is Tekken 8. Tekken 8. I did say that this was a game I played this year. I didn't think I would get the platinum for it, but I actually got the platinum for Tekken 8. So that might be my most random platinum this year. Moses, you're saying, why can't I become a member? It should let you become a member if you click the $ symbol or the join button. I could see if I could try to post a link in the chat for you. You could maybe click the join link. I'll post that. I should probably start doing that more often, by the way, as I'm talking about heading over to the members lounge, just kind of putting the join link. Just give me 1 minute to grab that link for you. I'll throw it in the chat now. This is the link to join the channel to become a member. If it's not letting you do that, you might have a, what do they call it? A branded account. If you have a branded account, I don't think you can get a membership on that account. So you might have to create another one. Try looking that up if it's still giving you a problem, if it's not letting you. But yeah, so Tekken 8, I think that's the third platinum I got. The next one, I got the platinum for Helldivers 2. Just so you know, I did have that much fun with it. And I'm like, I want to go all the way with this game. I want to get all the trophies. That one was a fun one. Then after that, I got the platinum. This one, I don't know. This one might be the most random one. Tekken 8 was pretty random, but Elden Ring is another game I got the platinum for this year. And what's weird about Elden Ring is I did play it in 2022 and I beat it in 2022, but I was like, I'm not getting this platinum. For some reason this year when the DLC came out, I was like, you know what? I'm feeling inspired. I'm going to try to commit to getting the platinum. So I did that. I got the platinum for Stray. That's the next platinum I got in 2024. And that one was a good one too. Not too difficult, a little bit of backtracking, but overall an enjoyable one. The next platinum in line, Astrobot. Astrobot, I didn't just get the platinum for, but I also 100%ed all the DLC, so 100% across the board. The next platinum, Until Dawn. That one was a bit annoying, I'm not going to lie. Until Dawn was a bit tedious to get the platinum for, but still enjoyed it. And then number 10, or not number 10, I think that's number 9. This is a game I played this year, but did not make any of my lists except this one, but I did get the platinum for it, Lego Horizon Adventures. Didn't enjoy it. It was okay. Yeah, like I didn't like hate it, but the platinum was not fun. So that would be my worst platinum of 2024. If I'd known how grindy it was going to be, I wouldn't have done it. Yeah, I wouldn't have done it. I didn't know what I thought it was going to be an easy platinum. I thought I'd be done it in like 5 hours or something. And the game I wanted to try to platinum before the end of 2024, but was not able to, was Silent Hill 2 Remake. So I'm working on that platinum now. We'll see if I can end up getting it. I'm planning on doing so. I'm planning on getting that platinum, but it might take me a little bit because the Silent Hill 2 Remake platinum is not an easy one, man. Gaming Survivor says, by the way, guys, if your YouTube account is a brand channel, you cannot be gifted memberships. Only way is to create a new account. Yeah, so keep that in mind because I do still see people sometimes asking about that. But yeah. So there you go. That's basically a rundown of of my top games of 2024. King Sam, you're saying you ended up getting the platinum for Dragon Age Veilguard without even trying, just had to do all the side quests and basically guaranteed to get it. Interesting. I kind of like platinums like that, that aren't too demanding. Maybe they just ask a little bit extra, just a little bit. But all right, guys. I'm hanging by a thread right now. So I am going to have to wrap this stream up. We are going to the members lounge. I'm going to post a member. You can join and become a member. I'm posting that in the chat right now. So the members lounge is probably going to take about 5 to 10 minutes or so to go up. Okay. So if you don't see it go up right away, just make sure you have notifications, turned on. That's going to go up in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Again, I'm just going to let everybody know it is going to be a heavy, heavy, heavy members lounge. So if you're not trying to be brought down today by some bad news or something like that, then I wouldn't. I would never. It's weird. Like I feel like I would never try to encourage anybody to not watch any of the content, but just letting you know. All right. So guys, members lounge. No, Rudy, trust me. The members lounge is going up in I would say about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll put it. I'll put the members lounge up now. I'll put it up right now, but I'm probably gonna take a little 10-minute break, and then we'll do that. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for all of the support. We did end the day with 132 members. King Sam dropped 100 of those members. So big shout out to him. And we got 32 other members from people joining and gifting. Thank you to anybody who showed support. Thank you to anybody who dropped any super chats. We are completely fan funded here. We don't do sponsorships. You guys are the sponsors of the channel. So thank you so much for everything you do. To all of my channel members, I will be joining you soon in the members lounge. And to everybody else, I will catch you guys in the next stream. So I'm aiming to do a stream tomorrow. If there's not a stream tomorrow, we will be here Sunday. Okay. So just be on the lookout tomorrow. But Sunday for sure we'll be back. But all right, guys, that does it. Members, I'll see you in the lounge. Everybody else, I will catch you in the next one. So till then, take care, everyone.